Howdy, y'all. I know I've been a little scarce lately. I just thought I'd jump on here really quick and explain a couple things. So, I was going to go on a lovely holiday to Florida, and that got canceled. And there was some drama involved. So, I just thought I'd just kind of set this record straight on what happened. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail or anything. I'm just going to let you know what happened to my little trip. So, I had planned to go to Florida to meet my friend Rachel, and we've planned this for many months and did a lot of booking in advance. And so I left out early in the morning. I caught my first flight, which was my actual first flight as an adult that I flew a couple times as a little kid, but I don't really remember it. And so I was ready. I went through security. Everything was fine. The first flight was very nice. I enjoyed it. It was exciting. I was nervous, but not really scared. And it was fun. And then so I landed in Dallas Fort Worth and had a long layover and waited. And then we finally boarded the plane. It was delayed. There was some weather going on, some winds. There was wind shear, there was a tailwind, there were a lot of different complications. We boarded the plane, we stayed on the plane over 2.5 hours, and then were told the flight was canceled. And uh, anyway, we were given misinformation several times, and finally kind of figured out that the flight was for sure canceled, and trying to book another flight and find another way from Dallas to Florida. There was nothing available. This was on a Thursday, and so there was nothing available until Saturday evening going anywhere close to my next destination. So I stood in the customer service line, which is what I was told to do, for over 6 hours. And that's literally standing in a line that was hundreds of people's long for over 6 hours. It was just miserable. So during that process, all of that waiting and being aware of what was going on to the people that were finally getting to the end of the line, we had run back and forth several times. They said our flight was going to be reinstated, and this went on and on and on. I had arrived at DFW about 8 o'clock that morning, and about 8 o'clock that night, I decided there was really no way I was going to get to where I was going in any kind of timely manner. We'd already lost the reservation for the B&B, and thank goodness for Rachel. She stayed on the phone with me and just held my hand through the whole experience, trying to help me do, what was right and figure out my next step. But eventually, I just gave up. After several hours of standing in that line, I just called my husband and was like, please just come get me. We live about 3.5 hours from that airport, which took 38 minutes in the plane, but it takes almost 4 hours in a car. Anyway, he headed out to come get me, even though it was storming really bad. There was a bad thunderstorm. By the time I got to the end of the line, they basically just said, well, call the number on this card. So you can imagine my frustration and disappointment after the fiasco I had endured. And this was my first flight. Um, so I called the number, and let me say that all the people that I interacted with were very pleasant, but there just wasn't anyone available to help us or guide us. The whole plane full of people were in the same situation. So I called, and the lady gave me some information, a website to visit, some numbers for the flight, and some confirmation numbers, other things like that. But at that point, my brain was just kind of mush, and it was around somewhere around midnight when my husband showed up, and then we drove back home, and we arrived home. I think it was about 25 hours, 26 hours after we had left that morning. And of course, he didn't, he had to leave and go and work a full day and then drive there. And the traffic was crazy. The weather was horrible. You could hardly see. It was a terrible, terrible experience. But luckily, I came home with no permanent damage. We got home safe and sound, although we were both exhausted. And we slept the next day away. But that's kind of why I've not been on, is because I've been really tired, just trying to catch up from that. I'm not as young as I used to be, and that really took a toll. I was really tired for days and days. So I just wanted to let you guys know that yes, me and Rachel are planning on rescheduling, although I'm not quite sure when we'll be able to do that. We both have responsibilities, you understand. And another thing is the next morning after we woke up after that um, crazy day, our refrigerator went out. It didn't technically quit, but it went from making kind of an annoying noise to making a persistent, crazy, I'm about to die noise. So we had to go and purchase a refrigerator, and both of us were so exhausted when we did that. But as far as consolation prizes go, that beautiful new fridge is that's a good one. You know, that kind of perked me up when I got that new fridge, because for years I've been wanting a black refrigerator because all my other appliances are black. So that just made the kitchen look great, and it really, brought my mood up and stuff, because as you can imagine, I was so disappointed. I was just so distraught and just very disappointed. My friend as well, she was so disappointed, and we lost the Airbnb, and hopefully I'll get reimbursed for some of that ticket price, but they're giving me the runaround. They don't really want to do anything but credit my American account. They don't want to refund any of the money. So we'll see how this plays out. So fingers crossed that we get our deposits and our money and stuff back, and we're able to uh, reschedule and redo our happy little trip there. And although this was terrible, um, it has not put me off of travel. It has just made me a lot more aware of what can happen, and the kind of precautions I need to take. And I just wasn't ready for that type of situation. I was just kind of naive about how you could get stuck somewhere like that, or anyway, so it really opened my eyes, and it was a game changer as far as how I'm viewing travel, especially flight. From here on out, I'm going to be a lot more prepared for any eventuality. So I'm going to have to get, travel insurance, cancellation insurance, that kind of thing. But and a lot of people are telling me that this is a one of a kind experience, that they've traveled all their life and something like this has never happened to them. And I've had a couple people tell me that, yeah, now that this has happened and you're gonna, just like arm up with all the insurance, you'll probably never need to collect on it or whatever. But I learned my lesson, and I'm gonna be travel safe, and have all my bases covered. So I just wanted to give you an update. That's why I haven't been posting. I'm just tired. I'm just kind of catching up on my sleep. Today, I'm just starting to feel more like myself, and so I'm going to go and do a big shop. I've just kind of let us run out of everything. So I'm going to go and spend most of the day refilling supplies. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base with you guys, let you know that everything turned out fine, although we were just very disappointed. Um, and everything was canceled, and we didn't get to participate in our vacation we'd planned. There was nobody was hurt, and nothing was, no permanent damage. We're all good. Um, but yeah, it kind of changed how I look at travel. But I just wanted to come on here and tell you, I've been tired, so I haven't been posting, but everything's fine. Everything's back to normal. I'm back in the country, just me and the cats, and my sweet husband, who came to my rescue like a knight in shining armor. I was so happy to see him, you guys. You can imagine after that day how happy I was to just be like, "Ah, take me out of here." Okay, so I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week with more kitty cat videos and more vlogs, and I'm sure I'll be getting my energy back, and we can chat some more. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, y'all be sweet.